welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in. So it is April 9th, Thursday. Here's a salute to all you guys out there having a drink.
My near empty glass. That's for you guys. That's for you.
Here's to you. Global Warning Podcast, episode something. April 9th, 2020. So hope everyone's safe out there. We're not going to talk about unfortunately. I'm sorry for you people out there, except for right now. I did see this one story that I did like, so we'll just discuss this briefly and then move into talking about movie curses and things that have happened on sets that are random, even some things that have happened to me personally. Yeah, look at that surprise face. Woo. I was watching the news and they were talking about this couple in Germany, and I'm going to mess this up and my geography teacher is going to kill me. Belgium, I think. So anyway, they live on the border, or they're no longer able to come together because she closed the border. And this couple is 85. The man's 85, and I think his girlfriend is of similar age, obviously. They've been together for about a year, and they can't meet anymore for this obvious reasons of Corona and the border being shut. So they meet every day, and they sit on either side of the border, and they have lunch, and they have drinks, and they talk, and they hang out. And I thought it was cute because they're both, they're in love with each other, and they're
and also like they're really old, which I think makes the story even that bit cuter.
Agreed. I thought that's what made it cute. Otherwise, I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah, true that.
It was interesting. I thought it was kind of cute. So be grateful that you guys are shacked up with somebody over there. And she gave me a look like,
oh, yeah, I'll give you an update on that. I'm not there anymore. I'm in my mum's sunroom.
Oh.
So, yeah. Oh.
So nice. Oh.
I've had some, that's why, before we're doing a bit of a lowdown, that's what I will bring up in the dating relationship segment is inspired by true events.
Well, let's just roll right into that now. We can talk about the cursed films and things afterwards because it's a bit lengthy and this sounds far more interesting. So,
wow, no, I think you give it far too much credit. So I think I'm going to mention that word, but my relationship has been a victim of Corona. Yeah. But actually, I do think it's for the best. I'm not really. So what happened, I love it, I'm just like, here's all my personal shit. I'm just going to lay it out there. I have no idea how many callers we have, or listeners. Anyway, so we had a bit of a, argument a couple of days ago because, so I'm working from home. I'm still definitely doing 9 to 6, if not more. And I was at his. And I'd been there for nearly 3 weeks. So I was just getting really annoyed. I'm like, I'm working. I'm really stressed at work. I'm, cleaning when I have time. I'm cooking. He did some cooking as well. But I just got fucking, annoyed with him. Because I think he's never told me, but seeing how he's, been behaving, sleeping, a fuckload. I mean, honestly, he'd wake up at 11:30. And then I'd go into the bedroom at 2:00. He's asleep again. I'm like, what's going on? You know what? I did think, maybe he's depressed. And I know he had a business, and it was being affected somewhat. I didn't think it was near critical stage or anything. But I was trying to obviously that's going to affect somebody. And just the uncertainty of everything, and the isolation. But I just felt he it's his mood, his disposition just really nosedived in the last week, out of nowhere as well. And I think, it's not just because of the exceptional circumstances we're in. I've seen his behavior over the 7 months we've been together. I was, spoken to you guys about it. I've been spoken on the show about it. He used to drink a lot and turn to an absolute arsehole. And that became an issue at like 3 months, and I thought that's quite like 3 months, like that's quite early for a big issue like that to come to light. And then he was like, oh, you changed, you stopped drinking, sort of really tackling the core of the problem, but it's not a superficial measure, but at least the arsehole is contained. So we got into a bit of argument a couple of days ago. So I was just like, I just feel really frustrated. I'm like, he was not doing anything, like anything. And it's been a bit of a theme. I always feel like I put a rocket up his ass, so they're like, oh, this is your flat, which you own. Like, don't you want to do like a little bit of DIY to improve this, or like clean, or like do this, or like, I don't know. And I think I just, so I did raise my voice in this argument. I was a bit like, you don't do anything, And then I thought, give us some time to cool down. But he didn't speak to me for 10 hours. And we slept separately. I slept on the couch. And then he, did the silent treatment the next day. And I just said, you know what, I think I'm going to go back to my mother's so we can just have a bit of space so we can think about like how we want to proceed from here. And he was like, okay, I'm going to go jogging. You can pack your stuff then. I was like, I can just pack some stuff like while you're here. Like, I don't have to wait until you're gone. Like, I don't know. And then my Uber was about to arrive and I was just like, okay, cool. I'm going to go. Yeah, I guess like we can talk in a few days, just, give each other that space. And he was like, and I said to him, like, I was like, I don't know how we should proceed, but I said worst. And then he said something like, and I said, I've left a few clothes here because I was trying to keep that door open a bit. Like maybe we could work through this. I don't know. And then he was like, are you going to give me the money? And I was like, what money? And he was like, the money for me to send you your stuff.
Oh.
All right. I mean, I'm like, what? And then, I was like, are we discussing worst case scenario thing? I was like, and he's like, I'm not going to the post office, especially now with Corona. You want me to expose myself to Corona? I was like, what? And I was like, I've only left a few things, they're non-essential, and you don't have to post them like when lockdown's over or something, And then he was like, no, like postpone your Uber and just like take all your things. So I was like, so does that mean we're over? And he was like, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Wow. Okay.
Right? Exactly.
Jesus.
All right, let me chime in before you continue because I'm gonna.
He's been jumping. He's jumping on this.
He's been boiling for ages. Okay, go on.
I think I don't know him. I never met him. Obviously, I only know from what you've told us. But
and everything I say is accurate and unbiased.
Fucking is. I think a lot of times guys we overreact in a situation that we feel we don't have control over when it comes to especially our relationships, because we struggle to communicate effectively. Not everybody. A lot of us struggle to communicate effectively, especially quickly, because you've had time to think about this probably, or have been giving this some consideration, because in my experience, when it comes to breaking up or separating or, having some space, the woman is almost always already there. She's logging shit. So, that argument we had, that time you sat on my head and farted, whatever the situation, and you've been filing all this shit. So you've already broken up with me weeks ago, So it takes something like whatever happened to spark that. And
I think he was the opposite way around, though.
Really?
Because I was like, I said like, why didn't we discuss things in a few days? And I actually was a bit 50-50. I'm not too sure if I conveyed that completely. But I was just like, I think we just need to give each other space, right now. And for me, because he hadn't said anything, like, you know what? When we had the argument, he said to me, you better stop because you're going to see a really nasty side to me. and you do not want to fall out with me. That's what he said.
So he tried to check you.
Basically. Yeah, he tried to fucking like Scarface me or some bullshit. I'm just like, this is the thing. So with that, and the way I always think a very good test of character is how somebody behaves during stressful circumstances. So obviously you have this lockdown situation, but I thought the way he was just a bit like, I can't be fucked, take your stuff. And like for me, like, you're gonna send me the money? I'm like, really? You know what I mean? Because also, you know, I bought a few things for the flat, like nothing expensive, but I was, you know, contributing to some things, whatever. So I'm just a bit like, seriously, you're gonna have the pettiness to say something like that. And I was like very much like, this is the worst case scenario.
It's a control mechanism though for a lot of guys. For me to say, and I hate to admit this, I really do live it, and I'm living it while you're saying it. But I've said, you know, and when I see you, bring me my keys. When I really didn't want her to give me my keys, and then I thought about it, and I was like, I fucking shouldn't have said them.
Yeah, that was a dick thing.
Yeah, because now I'm just like, that's really dumb. And
but when were you saying that shit? I hope it wasn't like last month. I mean, were you saying this, you know, 10 years ago, or what was? And like, did you? What happened?
This is where he says, "Oh, yesterday, fuck."
I don't care. It's Corona time. Bring my shit. No, it was
an actual example of something you said, and like, how did that play out? Did you like? You're like, no, I don't want the keys. I just want your heart. You know what I mean? Like.
And at that point, she was like, "Fuck you and your keys, motherfucker." So, and I was like, "Oh." Anyway, so I think that's probably why that may have taken place. It's just this situation's out of control. Here's how I take control back. Send me money for your shit, and you know, because now I'm in control of that aspect of the situation, whereas you've already made the decision to bounce, and I'm not happy about it. But
then I'm a bit like, he just didn't talk to me for like a day.
Yep.
So I'm just a bit like.
Before though, he said he did something. I don't remember what the situation was, but you wanted him to apologize.
Oh, I always want him to apologize. Not always, but I just feel like, you know what? The thing is though, with this whole lockdown, okay, right, I do definitely think that last argument was intensified by the situation, but because we were spending a lot more time with each other. But also, for me, I feel like it's been very insightful. And I think, you know, as you said, I mean, there's been like quite a few instances now, and I feel there's a very spiteful root to him. And I'm a bit like, yeah, I'm done. Like, I haven't even cried about this. I'm just like, done.
This is what Corona's going to do to a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely.
This intensity is going to, well, it's difficult because it doesn't quite, it's going to feel like it's showing people completely for their true colours when it may not be completely, because some people may just be like just struggling in the situation, or like there's extra financial pressure and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this is, I mean, just this amount of close contact with no off switch, no, you know, isolation of your own. Like everyone's self-isolating. It's everyone who's self-isolating with someone isn't self-isolating. So yeah, there's no off switch from the, like, there's no actual self-isolating for themselves where they can just have like a few minutes to like, need to get out the house.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a unique situation literally for everybody. Nobody's ever been in this situation before. Nobody knows how to deal with it, and now we're really tapping into a part of ourselves that none of us have ever had to explore. Nobody knows. I mean, I'm because I work from home mostly anyway, unless I'm going to set. I'm always at home, or I'm at the gym, or I can go to the store. You know, I can go and do shit. I go wash my car, and you know, that's stuff I like to do to take my mind off whatever else. Those things aren't an option anymore. So now you're spending all your time with that person. When you go on vacation, you know, I'm gonna go down to the bar, the mini bar downstairs or whatever. I'm gonna go for a walk to the pool or whatever. You don't have those options. You're together all the time, and you're seeing a side of that person that they've never even seen of themselves. It's different. It's definitely different, and we don't know how to deal with it. And a lot of people are gonna fall out as a result of it.
Totally.
Also, it also in situations where they shouldn't, because this is where it's difficult, because like there's almost like an extra layer of leeway needs to be given to people's behavior at certain points. Obviously, if someone is just like the same beginning to end, then it is what it is. But like, I think this is hard, just because like you say, no one's been in this situation before. So, this person, how are they dealing with it? Because this is them, or this is just them in this situation, or this is the pressure. Like, I don't know. It's tough.
I think with my personal situation was that I've seen some elements of this before, and now it's just magnified. And there's been like other things as well. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like perfect. Oh, one argument, he reacts to that. So I think, and also a 7-month relationship. It's not a total baby, but kind of is. It's like a toddler stage here, So I think it would be different if I was in a long-term relationship. I really knew. It's like, well, yeah, I really knew them or whatever, and I'd seen they were like a good person, always, showing up or whatever, and then they had a sudden they cracked. I think that's different, if you get what I mean, because you've got a kind of track record.
I think it would be worse.
Do you think so? You didn't see it coming?
I think if I've been with you for, I don't know, we'll say 5 years or longer or whatever, just basing this off my history, if I've been with you for 5 years in a normal situation and now I'm locked up with you all the time, I mean, even in a normal situation, and I'm thinking of my best relationships, probably 20% of the time you're kind of just like, ugh, really? Did you really just fucking do that? Or fine, I'll fucking do it. It might be my inner, monologue that's happening, dialogue. So potentially, if I'm around you all the time, then I probably, it might set me off a bit deeper, I think, versus it being new. That I'd be like, yeah, okay, it's new. And you're going to learn more about that person, definitely, quickly.
Yeah.
I think.
But sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
Well, I just think, obviously, I mean, when you have these kind of arguments, for me, arguments, that is absolutely normal to have. And, obviously, there's definitely healthy ways to have them, or healthier ways to have them. But if somebody, for me, as you said, it could be oh, I want to take control, I, come across this way, blah, blah, blah. But if somebody, when you've had, okay, our track record would have arguments, and I always felt like I was the one building the bridge of peace, afterwards. So I'm a bit you know what? If you can't be bothered to even think this is worth it, I really like this person, let's try and work through this. That's why I'm very much shut down right now. So I'm just I can't. So if you can't be bothered, why should I be bothered when I have been in the past? But I told you we have to forgive each other quickly, discuss things, which I know. But this is also the whole. What I want to discuss was about how men and women react differently to conflict, and afterwards how they might what's the best way for them to bounce back. So Liam, you were going to say something.
I can't even remember what I was going to say before, but it doesn't matter. For me, I can probably accept that I'm actually probably a terrible person to argue with because I am the first person who's okay, so, I don't know, this shit happened, and it was bad, it was annoying, or whatever, but, okay, and I'm focused on the solution, and, moving on, and, I don't know, okay, so what now? I don't like it, because how, Vaughan, you were talking earlier about, the woman who, your neighbour, who was just winding you up and wouldn't let it go.
Right.
Like I like, okay, once we've addressed it, let's move on. You know, let's not dwell on bad stuff. So when people like to keep revisiting things and like keep that logbook of like all those things that I did to annoy them. I don't like that kind of thing, because it's just like, okay, I get it. Let's address it, but then let's move on and not let that dominate our lives. So I guess.
But then, what's your definition of moving on? Is it kind of like, you know, just if you're in a bad mood, get into a better mood now, or is it kind of like we're actually going to discuss it and try and resolve?
Well, no, discuss it and resolve it.
Reoccur. Okay. I was just checking. Because some people, they don't.
Not just ignore it. Don't call it like in the same way that you should just ignore it and be like, okay, yeah, we get what it is, but we're not going to explore it further. Don't just ignore it.
Oh no, because I've had like even just with like Vincent recently, I would sometimes say something, he would just laugh like a maniac. I'm like, what are you, the Joker? I don't understand. And the thing is, I mean, so that for me, he kind of thought that was how to resolve something. And I was like, no, this is just kind of like, this is just a distraction technique. Like, no, we need to talk about it. Just because you got me to laugh doesn't mean it's over. You know what I mean? Like, and like, I don't want to dwell on it, but I'm just a bit like, we have to, if there's a problem.
You want some conflict resolution, basically.
Yeah, exactly. You're just like, I want to make sure this is the likelihood of this occurring in the future is minimal. You know, not saying it's never going to occur, but we need to kind of like learn how we can deal with this a bit better, or what's the root of the issue here. You know, so yeah, I was just you know, interested in your definition of resolving. It's good. It's good. Yeah, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, I hate being in a bad mood generally, or like anybody like hates it. So yeah, I'm just a bit like, you know what? If you can like squash like a fallout, like do that ASAP.
Yeah, I don't like arguing with anyone. Like,
yeah,
I don't see the point in like just being mad at someone for any extended period of time. Like, or well, I mean, if you're mad at someone, if you're planning on being mad at someone for extended period of time, then just don't be around them anymore. Don't be around them at all anymore. Like, if that's what your plan is, if you're thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be mad at you for a month, then I don't want to be around. I don't want to be around you at all. Forget the month. We'll just cut the tie there and then and see you later. None of this month shit. No. Nope.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, for me, it's always a learning experience. I mean, you figure out what worked and didn't work, and you take that forward with you, or you know what to look out for in the future and what to try to avoid, because you have to always remember to, I'm not going to get this right, and somebody said this to me the other day, not to me, but I saw something they posted. You have to watch how you let people talk to you, because you're teaching them how to treat you, basically.
Oh yeah. No, nailed it. I've seen that as well. You're basically defining your level of self-respect.
Exactly.
Depending on what you are willing to, you know, absorb or go, nah, not for me, thanks. So, yeah.
Well, J-Rye Rye is on the market, man. You can hit up the show at info@v3.uk if you want to holler at her. I don't know what her Instagram. I don't even know what her Instagram.
I don't have Instagram, Facebook.
What? How do you have?
I know. I had an Instagram years ago, and that's just like a picture of me with some taxidermied bear in a museum, and we both got the same pose. And I've got like a BO patch as well. Like, it's a very unattractive picture, but I put it on there.
Hit her up at Global Warning Podcast at Instagram. That's
yeah. Especially if you're rich, because I know that's what millionaires are doing right now. They're listening to this podcast.
There it is. We got it now. Let's go. So we're all sat around at home. We're spending a lot of time on Dijon, watching TV probably when we're not working out or playing video games or constructing marble.
Marble, yeah. There we are.
The topic of there we go. That's Liam's.
Yeah, that's right.
He finished it. No, it's just like
I haven't finished it. It's got no wires on it. When the wires are on, there's going to be a special show of shit going down, or marbles going down.
We'll look forward
That's
to
cool.
that for next week's show.
Yes.
We're going to be discussing films and series that we're watching on Netflix and other places, because I know a lot of you guys are like, I watch this, geez, this sucks, because we already know where J-Rye Rye stands on the Tiger King, things like that. So I feel that it was important that we help you guys isolate the shit you might want to watch and not want to watch. And this topic of cursed films came up because as an actor, we spend a lot of time on set, and even in theater, you're not supposed to say certain things in theaters because it will curse the production. So the topic of cursed films came to my mind, so I did a little research. And what are some of the most well-known movie curses? Well, regardless of whether you believe that these creepy stories about cursed films truly exist or not, or if there's something supernatural, or if it's just simply a case of coincidence, this shit has happened, and it's interesting to me. So there's a new series out called Cursed Films, which I haven't seen yet. It's a docu-series which explores the myths and legends behind some of Hollywood's most cursed horror film production. So I wanted to look at more than just...
What's that noise? What's going on?
I don't know.
Somebody in the kitchen. Liam, are you next to the kitchen or something? I'm hearing
Yeah,
a bunch of like...
Sorry, yeah. No, it's fine.
Tell them. Stop making dinner, all right?
That was nothing.
Yeah,
Relax yourselves.
Wow.
Okay.
I wanted to look at more than just horror films today because, these alleged curses happens across all film genres, obviously. And last summer, I was working on an HBO show called Avenue 5 at Warner Brothers Studios, so go check that out, guys. The entire film lot that we were on at Harry Potter Studios was plagued by something. So I don't know what it was, but there was some shit going on at Warner Brothers last year, and we had multiple things that took place. So the Fast and Furious 9 was on the set right next to us, and one of the stuntmen had an accident, fell and damaged. I think he fell on his head, basically, injured his neck during production. The restaurant at the Harry Potter Studios had metal pins and glass found in 13 of the muffins on the studio tour, and this incident came just weeks after they found glass in a hamburger.
What the fuck?
Yeah. One of our sets on Avenue 5 burned down over the summer. I think it was in either June or July. And 2 guys on set, I think they were grips on some production.
What does that mean?
The grips are the guys that they mark the floor where you're supposed to be standing.
Okay.
They do all that shit.
Yeah.
These 2 guys got into it on set. One of them pulled a knife and stabbed the other guy.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So all this happened in the summer of 2019 on Harry Potter Studio lots in Leavesden. So what are we all watching? Because we need to pick something I think that people might want to check out. We've reviewed Tiger King, and we know that Liam didn't want to watch that one because
I watched it.
Did you watch it? Okay.
All the way through.
Oh, did you?
Did you?
Watched all of them. Wow, that took a lot of courage to watch all of them. I think after like 4, I was like, all right, I get it, and then I was just kind of waiting to see if he ended up killing that lady or not. Spoiler alert, but did you think it was interesting, or did you think it was kind of like weird?
It's a mixture of a whole bunch of things. I mean, it's by the end, there's just a whole bunch of stuff where you're just kind of like, huh? And it turns out he has been killing lions or tigers or whatever they are, and like there's skulls in the back garden or in the zoo or something like that. And this Jeff guy's got the zoo, and he's not working there anymore, and I don't know. It's
Tiger King was the one killing lions. I thought it was the other guy with the ponytail and the 5 wives.
But by the end of it,
were both of them.
There's an accusation that the ponytail guy was doing it, but I don't think it's been proven. And Tiger King guy was admitted to doing it.
Oh, right.
They called it euthanizing rather than killing.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it was a wild
yeah.
production. I thought while I was watching it, because I had no idea what I was in for, because I didn't read anything before I watched it. There were just so many like elements that I wasn't expecting, like him being like the country western redneck singer, fucked up music videos, and I'm like, this can't be real. To, you know, the meth addict boyfriend covered in tattoos with no teeth, and the woman who potentially killed her partner and fed him to years. There was just a lot of moving parts to this, you know, and it was all kind of weird, and just it was kind of like, it kind of reminded me of the Don't Fuck with Cats movie or docu-series or whatever, where it was real, but I couldn't tell if it was real or if it was a joke, you know, because it was produced. It was kind of like, are they serious or is this, you know, a piss take? But yeah, I mean, I thought it was interesting in the beginning. The lady got her hand chewed off by the lion or tiger or whatever. That was interesting, but then it kind of once you got past the first couple episodes, it just kind of got kind of flat to me. I was just waiting for something.
Yeah, it's a bit samey, and you're getting through it just to get through it, rather than like, oh my god, what's going to happen next, sort of thing. Like, it's not, yeah.
It could have been condensed a lot more, I think.
Oh yeah,
they could have condensed it to 3 episodes.
Yeah,
made it
3, 4. Yeah.
I think they could have probably. They did. Was it 7? I think
7. Yeah, I think 7.
They definitely could have squeezed it down to 5. I definitely think they could have brought it down to 5, maybe even 4, because there was a lot of gibble gabble. But and then you have like the guy that's got multiple wives and all this other shit. It just seemed like there were all these subplots that could have probably just own little story, you know, which I thought was interesting. So, yeah, whatever. So let's pick a genre for next week. We're gonna find something, watch it, and let these people out here know that they should steer clear or check it out. So I'm partial to everything that's not romantic. So so I'm easy. You guys got a genre that you like to mess with or what?
I do want to try getting into is it called Money Heist? Not Tower Heist, Money Heist.
Oh, is that a Spanish? Is that a Spanish series?
It's like it seems to be a similar sort of story in terms of them robbing the Royal Mint in Spain. A similar thing to Inside Man, but it's a series.
Oh.
It's got high ratings, 8.5 on IMDb.
Well, there's now another program on Netflix about how the people in the program are like considered like national heroes and stuff in Spain. So like, there's even a spin-off of the series itself, saying about how much of an impact this series has had.
Wow.
Excellent. So for me, and as I was watching this Lion, Tiger, King, whatever the hell it is, I felt that it would have been more interesting for us to review it per episode. To me,
yeah.
You know, I felt like it would have been like, oh, we could have discussed what happened in episode 1, 2, and so on. So I'm happy to do that with this one. You've already seen, I don't know, have you seen any of them yet or no?
I've seen like an episode and a half.
Okay, cool. So shall we do like
first 2 or 3 or something like that, and then just see where we go?
Wait, how long is each episode?
I want to say like 40 minutes each, something like that. Not an hour. As far as I remember, not an hour.
Okay. I can manage 2 episodes next week. So
yeah, same.
Yeah,
so we'll review Money Heist next week, and that's what's happening. And we're gonna have some callers for Miss J-Rye Rye next week. We had one for this week, but she had some issues and wasn't able to make it. So we will put that phone number up, and we just lost her again. There she is. If you want to call in and speak to her, you can't speak to me. You can't speak to 213 because we don't have anything to say. J-Rye Rye is the one that's got all the information with talking penises and far more interesting than 213 and myself. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe if you're checking us out on Spotify. Share with your friends, and we're out of here. We'll catch you guys next week, and thanks for listening. Peace.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for the salad, miss.